World War II was the stage for the greatest horrors humanity had ever seen. But in the middle of chaos, fire, and despair, one man walked through the battlefield in a way no one could understand. A man who refused to kill, refused to touch a weapon, and yet became one of the most extraordinary heroes the world has ever known. This is the true story of Desmond Doss, the soldier who saved 75 lives without firing a single shot. Desmond Thomas Doss was born in 1919 in Lynchburg, Virginia, into a humble, hard-working family. His mother was deeply religious, committed to her faith and her church. His father, a World War I veteran, was a man carrying invisible wounds, scars from the trenches that he tried to drown in alcohol. Growing up in that environment meant living between devotion and destruction. From a very young age, Desmond witnessed violent arguments inside his home. His father's temper, fueled by alcohol and old war trauma, created a world where fear was a constant visitor. But one night changed everything. Desmond watched his father get into a heated fight with his own brother. The argument escalated until his father grabbed a gun. In that terrifying moment, Desmond saw how easily a weapon could destroy a life, and he made a vow he would never break. He would never touch a gun, no matter the cost. As he grew older, his faith became the foundation of his identity. He believed fiercely in the commandment, "Thou shalt not kill," not just as a religious principle but as a personal promise. He kept the Sabbath as sacred and built his life around peace, compassion, and service. But the world was about to collapse into war once again. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States entered World War II. The country was swept by a wave of patriotism. Men of all ages volunteered to fight, and Desmond volunteered too, not to fight, not to kill, but to save. He enlisted in the army as a combat medic, someone who would enter the battlefield not with bullets, but with bandages, not with a rifle, but with determination to keep other men alive. But from the moment he arrived at training camp, he realized the military had no idea how to deal with someone like him. To the other soldiers, he wasn't different. He was dangerous. A man who refused to carry a rifle was seen as a liability, someone who could put the entire unit at risk. They insulted him, they mocked him. They called him a coward, a weakling, a disgrace to the uniform. Some soldiers believed he was hiding fear behind religion. Others simply didn't want to fight alongside a man who refused to shoot back. For months, Desmond Doss faced relentless bullying. He was mocked, isolated, and even beaten in his sleep because he refused to touch a weapon. His commanders tried to force him out with threats and false accusations, but he stayed firm. He repeated one sentence every time someone challenged him: "I'm not refusing to serve. I'm refusing to take a life." While others practiced shooting, Desmond practiced saving lives. He trained harder than anyone, learning to stop bleeding, carry bodies under fire, and perform life-saving techniques under impossible conditions. Eventually, he earned the right to go to war, and he was sent to the most brutal battlefield of World War II, Okinawa. Okinawa was a fortress of tunnels, caves, and hidden enemy positions. At its center stood a 400-foot cliff known as Hacksaw Ridge, a place where stepping forward felt like stepping into hell. Gunfire erupted without warning. Explosions shook the earth, and bodies fell faster than medics could reach them. And there, in the middle of the chaos, walked Desmond Doss, unarmed. He dragged wounded men to safety under constant fire. He crawled through smoke and blood to reach soldiers no one else dared to approach. Slowly, his unit realized the truth. This man wasn't a coward. He was the bravest among them. Then came the day that changed everything. A massive assault ended in a massacre. Dozens of soldiers were left behind, bleeding and trapped. Commanders ordered a retreat. Everyone ran back toward the edge of the ridge. Everyone except Desmond. He stayed. Alone, he walked back into the battlefield. He lifted men onto his shoulders, tied them to a rope, and lowered them down the cliff, one by one through the night. With every rescue, he whispered the same prayer: "Lord, help me get one more." He worked in darkness under fire with bleeding hands. But he didn't stop. At sunrise, medics at the bottom stared in disbelief as wounded soldiers kept appearing. When they asked who was sending them down, the answer was simple: "It's Doss, he's still up there." By morning, he had saved 75 lives, without firing a single shot. Desmond Doss returned home as the first conscientious objector to receive the Medal of Honor. The same men who once mocked him now said he had more courage than all of them combined. His story remains a reminder that true bravery isn't measured by violence, but by the willingness to sacrifice everything to save another life.